Okay, I want to just quickly show you what Google uh, location tracking can do for you. I know it's a little ominous to some people, but if you keep your location settings turned on in Android for Google and give it the appropriate permissions, it will track where you go the whole time and upload it to your Google account. So in this scenario, I've just gone into Google Maps, nothing fancy, just gone right in. It figured out, where I am right now, as it does. But if you go to history in the lower left-hand corner, it will pop up different uh, things that you can take a look at. If you go to location history, it'll show you sort of from all time, anytime that Google location services were turned on, where you were. Uh, your most common density, of course, will be around where you live. I'm going to click today just to make it easier to go back to yesterday. So I'll go back to yesterday. And here is my motorcycle trip. So on the right hand side, and I can do a control scrolly wheel and zoom in, or just use normal zoom techniques. On the right, you see the map. On the left, it associates, it shows you the timeline. This is your timeline. So it shows you where you began. In my case, I began in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I then went to Wisconsin Harley, took some pictures, and it knows that because they were on my camera and knows where it took the pictures, so it's associating pictures. I then went to various places. If I click here on Red Mouse, excuse me, it automatically flies over to that on the map. I can use normal Google Map commands and turn on satellite and all that kind of stuff. I can zoom in. Now, notice these lines. A lot of these lines were, it's Google approximating every, I don't know how often, minute or so, where I am. It's not like GPS really, in that it's not pinging constantly, for your position. It checks every few minutes, and that's why they're straight lines. But anyway, and if I want, I can actually click on the pictures, and it jumps to that picture. I think I can do the upper left arrow here and go back. So anyway, this is that, and then I'll zoom all the way out. What's nice is you can get a really good feel for your route that you took. Maybe you weren't paying a lot of attention on your tour, when someone else was leading. This is a good way you can reconstruct your map, and where you stopped and all of that kind of stuff. You can hover over places. I did correct one place, like this place, for example, this Allstop Plaza. Um, it just called it the town, whatever little, it called it Arlington. So in my left-hand side, I clicked on it on my phone and picked the actual place that it was, which was the gas station where I had stopped for gas. And yeah, so that's about it. It's pretty cool. There's one other aspect of this which is really neat. If you go to, you can export this um, to a file and then load it up in a GPS application or Google Earth, which would also work. Which actually I did. I installed that and loaded up my file. And to export it, you just go to the gear menu in the lower right, export this day to KML, and it will export it to a KML file which can be opened by an application. When I did that, it was actually not all that helpful. And by not all that helpful, I'm spoiled and say as we see here, uh, there are some lines that get put in because the file is not scrubbed. So it picks, it has some dancing around bits. I mean, mostly it looks like the other map, the actual Google map location data. Got pretty much all of it right, except it starts to go wonky over here for whatever reason. So, I didn't, do a hypotenuse straight through this triangle. I didn't dance around over here, but for the most part, it got it right. I'm sure there's a way to go in and clean up those lines. It is neat though. You can click on those places and it will bring up pictures of that area. So between normal Google Maps and the desktop or phone Google Earth applications, you can do a lot of really neat things. And then I think in here it's easier than to work with the export files for your GPS if you're so inclined. Okay, that's about it.